but the person would still perform a certain action that destroys the life socially of others, or does not perform at their peak performance and is unable to see. So is there a process that you take a person from not being able to recognize this as a destructive maybe behavior or substance to seeing this hunger mentality that we talk about?
Yeah, absolutely. It's getting a brutally honest inventory, right? Of, okay, how do you emotionally engage with the world? How do you mentally engage with the world? And I loved how you mentioned behaviorally, because they all kind of go hand in hand together, right? I think the West, the Western cultures have kind of made this error in philosophy and psychology of like taking these different parts of us and isolating them and making it seem like they're just completely independent of each other. And that's absolutely not true. How we think influences how we feel, influences how we behave, influences how, just in general, how we show up, right? So getting these men to step out of their life, right, to step out of their story, if you will, and get like a 10,000 foot view of, okay, we're looking at how you operate now. What do you say about this guy who is living your life exactly the way that he's living it? How do you objectively look at that, right? Because I think a lot of us don't want to see these things because there is a lot of shame associated with it. We don't want to actually turn our face towards the things that are painful. But I've found through different kinds of modalities and different kinds of practices that when I am able to get men to step out of their timeline and look at their life from like a 10,000 foot view objectively, they're able to make some connections of, I see now where my thoughts, where my emotions, where my behaviors have not been serving me, have not been serving God. I see where my patterns or these patterns have actually been hurting my kingdom that God has been calling me to steward. And again, once we are able to get them to see that, they can't unsee it. And then at that point, it's like, well, what are you going to do with this now? How do you
Which
want
goes
to
back
proceed
to the
with
purpose.
it? Yep, exactly. Yeah, the pain's going to be there no matter what. Like, we can't get away from the pain. So we might as well take that and transform it into something that is going to be a blessing.
So in a way, it revolves around that sense of purpose and that sense of drive to get you to the next level. And then you take them to look at their entire, do you look at the entire life, or do you just look at that trauma or that entire life that would eventually lead to that trauma?
Yeah. I think a good place to start is to redefine trauma. Like for a lot of us as men, it's this fallacy of PTSD, right? If we don't have an official PTSD diagnosis, then no, I don't have trauma. I don't have any wounds. I don't have anything that happened to me that could be considered that. But if we look at even the word trauma, I believe it comes from the Latin word trauma, which just means wounded. And if we live outside of the Garden of Eden, in newsflash, we've all been wounded.
Everywhere.
So if we are a wounded king, then our kingdom is absolutely being affected by it, right?